Cool, pardon me. Okay. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I stepped away, but once I get back to the computer, I will
No,
open
I fully understand.
it up.
Yeah.
Got interceptors up too as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got my fashion report done.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Can you picture that? I'm starting to feel better now that I've eaten food.
Nice. That's always.
Right? I was gonna say, isn't it amazing how much food can make you feel better?
Yeah. For sure. I'm actually a little hungry too. I'm gonna grab a little snack. Not right now, but I'm okay for now. But
No, you can grab a
honestly,
snack. Honestly, Katie.
So this can just be the this can be the pre-game stuff at the moment. Kate, don't worry about it, Katie.
Sure.
Like we can take a second. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just not saying it very well.
Oh, you're fine.
Are you sure, Katie? We can, like, it might take longer than expected.
I'm expecting this to take 2 hours. I would probably get something to eat.
Okay.
Do everything that you can so that we can continue.
Yeah.
I made sure my dog is fed and tired. So
I'm just saying, since last time it was an hour and a half for when we originally recorded this, and we're technically wanting to go more in depth. I'm going, this is gonna be 2 hours, isn't it?
Sure, yeah. Give me I mean, I'm here. I have my wireless headset, but give me 5 minutes. I'll just warm something up real quick.
Yeah, no, fully understand. Take your time.
My dinner.
Yeah, I might remove my contacts too. So give me just.
Yeah, I can relate to that too because I wear them.
Boxes are not big enough in Game
sorry,
Freak.
honey.
Come on. Happy birthday, cat.
Thanks.
I'm assuming the honey was at the cat.
Maybe. Yeah, it was.
He's 5?
Yes. She's so small, right?
Right?
Yep.
She does really look for this. I was gonna say, whereas Thorin is fat. Very
fat.
No,
when I got her, I got her at age 2, and she was so small, and I was like, is she okay? And they were like, yeah, she grew up as a stray, and they just surmised that she just didn't get enough of her mother's milk and stuff when she in her growing years, so it stunted her growth.
That makes sense. I could see that, yeah.
And she's fine otherwise. I had her to the vet a bunch of times, and she's healthy. She's just small.
Right, small.
Yeah. I like her small, so.
Hey, that works perfectly then, as long as you and the cat are happy, right?
Yes. She was climbing over me in a work meeting today, though, which is usually okay, but this one was a little bit more. There was it wasn't a big deal, but there was a couple higher ups there, and I was like, next time this happens, I might need to shut her in a room because I don't know.
That's fair. I can understand that. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're expected to be working at home, I don't think they should have any problems with it. But employers are weird sometimes. So
I mean, and there's been other meetings where other people's pets have come on or whatever. Yeah. And they're pretty chill, but I don't know. I felt especially if I'm looking to kind of move up in the company and make a good impression.
That's fair. Yeah, I can understand that. That makes sense. I understand that logic entirely.
I'm just heating up something. Should take another minute or so. And then I'll be good.
That's fine. Take your time. It's all good. I am starting to wake up, as I said, so honestly, you taking more time is perfect for me.
Okay, cool.
I can finally function as a human being now that I'm awake.
Yes.
It also lets me get the plastic off these Pokemon cards and will be opening while we talk. Hey, it'll help me focus. Honestly, opening cards, not a big problem. And I will go ahead and not read off the card names. Won't get excited about them. That way I don't interrupt, because I want to be 100% about the podcast. People?
My dog is hearing your voices, and she's like, "Who are those?
What's going on?
What's going on?" See, she's barking.
Are you?
I'm like,
Are you going to introduce me to your friends? How come you never invite me to go out with you?
She's just standing there. I'm like, What's wrong? She's like, I think I.
Standing here, I realize. Sorry. Sarah, Sarah.
It's so wild to me that like her dog knows her language and then also like
That is,
you know what I mean? Like you don't
yeah.
even think about that, but that's like 100% true. Like pets in like other countries, just like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I don't really think about it.
No, I get it because it's like I can barely even get one language, whereas the dog knows multiple languages. Like, dang, dog, making me look bad over
Right?
here. So I understand that sentiment entirely.
But it's like if a dog only knew another language,
Yeah.
then you go over to their house or something, be like, "Hi, how are you?" Like the dog will be like, "What are you saying?" And you're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like the dog thinks I'm crazy because I'm just saying hi to it.
Right.
But unless they also speak English or
That's true.
whatever. But like
Right.
if
Right.
not,
Right.
then
I hear words, but I don't understand. Stop it.
hmm
Yeah. That is absolutely true. I understand that entirely. By the way, I will say I'm a
She's-
little disappointed by the.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry, Kate.
No, she's so
Oh,
disturbed.
I was just gonna say.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
fair. No, you're okay. I was just complaining about Pokemon stuff. It's not important.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Just you and me. I know it's my destiny, Pokemon. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if we're ready, I'm ready.
Almost.
Okay. Take your time.
No,
Sorry.
you're fine.
We'll see if Minimax chose well. I have 3 of these boxes at the moment, but I'm keeping one sealed for like 20 years in the future. So I'm hoping he chose the right 2 boxes that got me some good cards tonight. Otherwise, it's no allowance for the next month. I'm just kidding. That would be a very intense thing for something he literally cannot choose or know the results of.
So you're gonna not open those? You mean the packs for 20 years,
No.
or the box
So like
that you had?
the box.
Gotcha.
So I have a third box of this one that's on stream right now. I have a third one of
There's a
this
lag.
one.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, you'll see in a second. I have a third one of those, and it's like, I mean, I obviously want to. The main point for me is collecting and playing, but at the same time, if I can go ahead and sell it later, it's like, yeah, I'm going to.
Sure.
That is not my first intent. I know that people hate people that do that, but I think they hate people that do that. That's
That's right. Yes,
specifically
yes, yes.
looking to sell.
hmm
Hey, yeah. Which I can understand. If they're specifically looking to sell, it's like you don't actually care about the game itself, do you, bud?
It's yeah. I think some of them even like hopefully it's kind of like with those quarters. You remember those quarters that were like had like the state?
State quarters?
Yes.
I have 2 sets of all
Oh
50
my
states.
God.
Yes, I do know that.
But like people thought they'd be worth something, but like they're not, right? Like
Yeah, my mom specifically tells me I can't sell them still because she got them for me. And she keeps saying, "Oh, they'll be worth something someday." And I'm just looking at my wrist, and it's like, there's so many of these in production that probably not gonna be the case. Whereas it's like a limited commodity like cards makes a bit more sense because you literally can't get those cards anymore. Whereas it's like, oh,
yeah.
I really like the design of this quarter, but I could just go get this other quarter that's not that quarter for cheaper.
Right.
I'm gonna go get that quarter for cheaper.
Right. Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, I guess I'm curious. I'll look up the state quarters real quickly. Like,
Yeah.
I guess
I
I'll
don't know.
check.
Yeah. I doubt it, but I mean, maybe someday for sure. But I think right now it's still
Yeah. I mean, listen, if each state quarter is $1 each, that in of itself is a big
Mm-hmm.
increase. I'll be honest. Value of 50 state quarters, 1999 through 2008. Let's see. Oh, do I have to click each one? All right, fine. That's a little bit annoying. Just tell me what the price is. Just tell me what the price is. Ah, this is awful. oh my gosh, I should not be surprised about this. But apparently, this is exactly like it would be with Pokemon cards, Kate, where it's like, if they're, well, Kate and Katie. So I'm looking at this, and specifically for the Wisconsin one, apparently, there can be a couple different designs by mistake. There can be no extra leaf, so apparently it's supposed to have two, or it's supposed to have one, but it can have two, or it can have an extra leaf low or an extra leaf high, and that can go ahead and increase the price too. It's like, oh my gosh, people have noticed way too much on this.
I've seen that where it's
And
like
it's like,
design. Yeah.
I don't understand those things. Trading card games.
I mean, I can understand. I can explain that later, but that tonight's not the point. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into. I actually am not into those kinds of games. The
I can understand it.
card games.
Interesting. Yeah, I dabbled in all of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I find it very
Some of them are mathy and like, yeah.
So it actually does look like each state is worth about $1 these days, which is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm bad at math.
Like, man, if each one's about $1, that has in fact increased in price. So never mind. I'll take back my comment about my mom. It's like, okay, fair enough.
Anyway, I'm pretty much ready, so we can start.
Yeah, I'm ready as well, Kate.
Okay. You're ready to let me know when you're starting to stream.
Oh, I already did that like
Oh, really?
12 minutes ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it. Okay, I'll start recording. Okay, good evening, friends, and welcome back to the Theology of Beauty podcast with me, Kate, your host, and I am joined again with two of my greatest friends, and maybe they can introduce themselves again.
Yeah. My name is Kevin. I also go by KAMaximilianK, and I am on Twitch under twitch.tv/KAMaximilianK. I do have a Reddit account. Twitter account is what I was trying to bring up. That's under KAMaximilianK as well. I typically go ahead and just repost prayer requests. I'm trying to actually post more thoughts on it, but I am pretty bad about that, to be quite honest.
My name is Katie.
Trying to, Star. How you doing, Star?
Don't really do a whole lot with streaming or Twitter. I'm just kind of here, but to support other people. My online tag is Caution180. I do have a Twitch channel, but I don't stream on it, so no need to do anything with that. But I'm here to support my friends, and I love talking theology and games and things like that. So yeah, I'm maybe here. Kate, you're muted.
Sorry, because my dog. I'm sorry. For those who are listening in real time, oh, there you go. My dog is. I thought was very tired, but she's not.
I cannot hear the dog. I don't know about you, Caution.
I don't hear it. I mean, Kate did mute during our introduction. I did see she mute, but even before that, I didn't hear the dog.
Yeah. I just figured I'd point that out. It's like, I can't hear the dog, Kate, so it's like, I believe you, but I cannot hear the dog.
It's not the dog. It's not her barking, but it's her disturbing my
dog?
my thing because she knows she's very weak.
I understand.
Wait,
Gotcha.
wait.
Oh.
Hear that?
While we're waiting for that, I got a nice new card. I'll take that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be enough.
All right.
Did you tell her to go out?
Yeah, she's out.
Yeah.
Because she's wrecking my whole room, and I don't have time to stop her.
Right.
Anyway.
Sorry, dog. You gotta go.
Sorry. So yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
going back to this podcast, maybe we can, or maybe I can just mention our topic for tonight, and our topic is online communities, and not really specifically social media, because there are communities out there built on and it's online, but more so about the fandoms that we have built upon, especially for us as people who, I think are we all millennials, or am I the only millennial here? I'm not sure.
No, I think
we
we're
all
all.
are.
Wait,
Yeah,
I don't
so
really know the
are
cutoff.
we millennials?
yeah,
What's the cutoff for millennials?
I don't know.
forgot.
I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
definitely not the next one. What's it called? Gen X or Gen Z or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
pretty
think any of
sure.
us are Zoomers.
Yeah, so but we
Anyway.
we basically
We're
grew
in our
up
30s, so
Fine,
yeah.
Zoomers.
Yeah.
yeah.
We basically grew up with internet, and so I think we receive a lot of the newness of the internet, and also it's, I think, evolving stages, and so
Yeah.
the the communities that we have right now isn't as it like the online communities we started on are very, very new, and it was very, I think, very surprising for us. And there's also that wowness that comes along with it, I think. And so maybe to start off this discussion, what were what was your first online community back then? Back then. Like, it shows how old we are. But
You're
yeah,
fine.
like, cuz maybe I could start. I'll start.
Sure.
So I remember my first online community was IIRC, in fact. It wasn't it wasn't really, I wouldn't say it's the same as today, but for those who doesn't know about MIRC even, it was we didn't have, we had internet, but it wasn't as extensive and as evolved as today. It's not as intricate, I would say, and complex. Back then we had MS DOS, like your typical programming thingy when you boot up your computer. And and it's an online, like, it's an online space with people, and there are categories for that, and you can enter like anime and gaming and stuff like that, and you will meet random people from different parts of the world from that. And I remember just joining one for anime music, when we can just download LimeWire, was it?
No, you're thinking Napster first. Napster
Oh
was
yeah,
first, if I remember correctly.
Napster. Yeah. So before Napster, there was MIRC or IIRC, and we would download stuff like that, and you would build communities there. And so that was my first experience. And then it kind of grew into different places, and I think we'll discuss that more later. But what about you guys? What about you? What was your first online community?
For me, um, yeah, for me, I'm trying to think exactly, but it was, I believe, like it was the Halo stuff where like we would kind of like in FC and like Final Fantasy 14 now, like
Mm-hmm.
guilds and stuff, like the Halo stuff. We had a clan, and we would get on together and actually play the game or just mess around or whatever. And we had I guess a community within like something called TeamSpeak, and we had a, you know,
Oh my gosh,
something that,
TeamSpeak.
yeah.
I was gonna say team. Yeah.
So we
And you have
had
to pay for that too.
Yeah,
I
that would
guess.
have been invented at the time,
I
actually,
don't know.
wouldn't it have?
I guess. Yeah, I didn't run it or anything. I was just there, but like
That's right. Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
just because I think Vent came before TeamSpeak. Sorry.
Vent.
Yeah,
Oh.
Ventrilo.
Oh, got you. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I was ever on that, but definitely TeamSpeak. So we would get
right.
on there, and it was actually similar to Discord. I think they had different channels and things like that, and yeah.
Yeah.
And you could do some talking. You're right. Yeah, it was just a lot more basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's was there a text channel?
I'm thinking. Actually, I don't know. I think.
I think I don't think there was a text channel per se, but I think you could like comment on specific things if I remember correctly.
forget, to be quite
I
honest.
have to
It's
check
been
now.
I know. I remember the
yeah,
big
I haven't used
green
TeamSpeak in
things that lit up when you
7
talked.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way you knew you were
Yeah.
talking. Yeah,
But
which admittedly would still be useful today.
You know what?
Right.
You know what I so I have this group now in Guild Wars 2,
Mhm.
and I would always greet them with the TeamSpeak voice. It's like,
Oh.
Okay.
welcome to the channel.
Oh yeah, there was like the bot
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my
I
goodness.
forgot about that.
forgot.
And you tried to.
Yes.
Welcome to the
you
channel.
tricked people, didn't you, Kate?
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Disconnected. Yeah. Oh my
Disconnected.
gosh. Yeah, I totally forgot there was like a
Disconnect,
bot
yeah.
there. Yeah.
I did
That's
too.
awesome. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, that's funny. Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, so this Halo thing, I was more into first person shooters back then, FPS. We played a little bit of like the Battlefield stuff too, and um yeah, it was a chill group of people. Then I got into WoW a little bit, World of Warcraft in high school. That was like very brief. That was like my first, well, besides I guess the RuneScape, which was free, but WoW was like my first bigger MMO, and I probably played that for like a year or so. Um, and then I went off to college and just like couldn't afford that or had a PC to run it and all that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, and then really in college, up until May, like basically right before COVID, like I would just kind of game on my own. Like I'd play a lot of single player games and I had gamer friends like IRL and stuff, but I don't think I was really part of a gamer online community until Discord started becoming a thing and um I got into it a little bit and all of a sudden COVID hit and then I definitely got into Discord with things and Final Fantasy 14 um and other thing, like Minecraft, like other things like that. So, that's kind of like where I'm at now. It's kind of like the summary of everything. There's obviously more, but like I mostly play Final Fantasy 14 right now as my MMO, and as well as other single player games and things like that. And yeah,
I guess I did have one question, caution. Just while I'm thinking
sure.
about it, for when you were originally doing the Halo stuff, do you remember how you found them? Was it like you searched for a Halo community, or did you? Oh, you said it was clan tags last time, didn't you? I was going to ask you if it was because you liked like Red versus Blue or something, and you found them through Red versus Blue. So that's what.
Yeah,
I was
to
gonna
be
ask.
honest, I did like Red versus Blue, but to be honest, one, I don't remember details, but I do
Sure, which I get, yeah.
remember my a big contributor was my cousin, who's around the same age
Okay.
as us. He's a year younger than me. Still in his 30s, but yeah. Anyway, he was a huge gamer as well, and he introduced me to, like, I liked playing with him and he introduced me to this clan, this Halo clan. It sounds kind of like weird, like a
Yeah.
cult, but it wasn't. It was just like a group, yeah. Um and and I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correctly, I got into it through him. I don't think I searched for it anyway, but he was there too, so that tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That definitely makes sense. And yeah, I just figured I'd double check because I
Yeah,
know
it's a
that
good question.
sometimes
Mhm.
the stories leading up to it can be interesting.
Mhm.
I'd still say it was obviously not. Yeah, sorry.
You're fine.
I'm
And that's
overthinking
fine.
now,
No,
as I do.
feel free to
Say
ask
it.
questions
Yeah.
for each other.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was a good
that's
question.
the beauty.
I like it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Okay, beauty of it. Ooh. Okay, what about you, Kevin?
But maybe a Theology of Beauty, one might say.
Oh yeah.
What? No, I'm just kidding. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I'm honestly trying to think if there was. So I was thinking while we were both of you were talking. I still think it was Anime Nation for myself. Which that was just a forum back in the day where you went ahead and obviously talked about anime. I don't remember what exactly drew me there because it's like I remember my screen name and that was Doom Dragon 22. So I'm trying to remember if that might have had any reason why, because I could definitely see looking for Guild Wars stuff and being like, oh, okay. I mean, not Guild Wars, pardon me. This was before Guild Wars, actually. Dang. that feels like a weird thing. I'm just saying, that feels like a weird thing for me because it's like Guild Wars is a game that I absolutely enjoy and is very much so a part of me. But probably Golden Sun, which is why I was named Doom Dragon. But anyways, that, and I remember specifically I would do like role plays for that one. And that wasn't where it started. Actually it technically was, because I occasionally got accused of necroing, which, you know, as a 13, 14 no, not even 14, probably 12-year-old kid who should not have probably been on those forums. But basically the point being, it's I didn't even know what necroing was at the time, so it's like that's my
I don't
earliest
even know
interaction
what
that I
is it.
happen to remember.
Oh yeah, wait, can you explain what
So basically,
necroing?
Yeah, necroing is where you basically go to an old thread that hasn't been posted on, say, like a week. Typically it's a bit older, and then you go ahead and revive it. And it's like, people typically don't like that.
I think
typically...
That's awesome.
necro is death, I think.
Yeah, so
and
like
then
it's like necromancy, where you raise
you
raise like an old
an old thread.
Yeah,
It's like, why is
that's
this dude doing this? It's like, because I don't know any better. Somebody help me. But yeah, that, then I think after that it was, eventually I got into Guild Wars, but I don't think it was that quite yet. So I think after that, if I remember correctly, it was Gaia Online.
Oh yeah,
that was just yeah, that one's still around, and that one was more so just pretty similar to Anime Nation. It was just less focused, because I think for that one I was going by the screen name of Lockec21 at that point. And Gaia Online could be good. I definitely
I like Gaia Online. I really did.
I did too. I did too. I'm just saying, I know that for personally, I probably tried to find a couple of okay, not tried to. I know I found a couple girlfriends that way and tried doing long distance relationships with that, which is something I absolutely forgot to mention last time. So it's like, oh yeah, that's probably something to go ahead and mention as well, actually, when I think about it.
But Gaia Online is so nice because you have your avatar, and this was like way before you can customize avatars, as in today. And
that's true. Good point.
Yes, and so it was so innovative because you basically can create your own self, your avatar, and you can customize it, and it's something like some of the online communities never had, like online forums. So this was a forum where you can also play games, but it's not like a video game. It's like refreshers.
There was video games too, but still, it was browser.
Yeah,
games,
it was like
so.
a JavaScript kind of game.
Yeah.
So
actually, I don't even know if Gaia Online even functions anymore.
It is.
That,
I'm just checking
Flash...
it.
Okay, I was just gonna say I wasn't sure if Gaia used Flash. That was my main thinking.
Fair. Yeah, I think I made a Gaia account, and I definitely made a Gaia account, but like I forget why I didn't really get into it. If it was more of like a writing thing or a blog thing, I was not really into that because I was not a writer. So if it was more that like that, then that's probably why I didn't quite get into it. I probably like made a little character and I was like, this is fun, and then after that I was like, okay,
Right. Yeah, I don't know if Gaia Online's doing so good, honestly. Okay, it looks like
it's
there's only about 3,000.
Yeah.
There's only about 3,000 of them online. I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, that don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. But anyways, let's see. After that, it probably would have been Guild Wars, because I was introduced to Guild Wars by a friend at the time in freshman year. Yes, because it was just shortly after it had come out of Alpha and Beta, which unrelated note, I wish I could have gone ahead, because apparently the Alpha and Beta for Guild Wars 1 was vastly different than what we have, but that's a tangent. Moving on. So
this is not a Guild Wars 2 podcast.
No, I know. That's why I'm moving on. It's like, there will be more stuff about communities later on that I will have to mention, but there was that. For a while I was part of a guild called League of Commanders, where I would go ahead and I was one of the higher ups. I don't know if I was not like vice guild leader or co-guild leader, but I was like one of the officers, so I still had a bit of responsibility. That was a lot of fun. That one, well, I'll talk about more too, because eventually we're going to go ahead. The later ties more into question 3, because I know we're covering question 1 and 2 at the same time. Let's see. So after that, it was, what was it after that? It was probably Guild Wars 2 eventually, because it's like, I remember. Yeah. No, it wasn't actually.
But
for me, go ahead.
Were we the one the first Guild Wars 2 community you've ever had?
No, you were not.
Oh.
I will. I can get to that more in a second.
Just kidding.
But yeah. So ooh, I wasn't your first. Anyways, let's see. So after that, there was a community online. I don't know if anybody remembers it, called Hey Lols, and they had a
I don't think so.
You know, I like TF2. I still like Team Fortress 2. And basically they had a Team Fortress 2 server that eventually died. I eventually became part of a community for TF2 called Project Mayhem, where I was admin for that one for a while, and I definitely abused my power, and I regret that. But I completely forgot about that last time we talked about this too. Because we can get into that, but that's more for later. For then, that should have been right up around the time that My Little Pony came out, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
so
My Little Pony.
Eventually, I was gonna say, I think My Little Pony was right before Guild Wars 2 came out, because Guild Wars 2 came out. No, Guild Wars. Okay, I'm remembering now. My Little Pony would have been about a year or two before Guild Wars 2 came out. Eventually, I did find a Brony guild in Guild Wars 2, but that wasn't until later. Yeah, that wasn't until later, because there was... So I joined the Brony community. I would still consider myself a light Brony, but not as much. I wouldn't really use those terms these days, just because there's some bad connotations to Brony, and I delve too... no, it's more so just because I delved too far into it, so that's on me, not on anything in particular there. So then, yeah, after that, it was... During Guild Wars 2, I was part of an online gaming community called Destructoid. I was known as Solar Pony Django there, because once again, as I said, very into My Little Pony at the time.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, so Destructoid was a lot of fun. The only downside, we can get to the downsides later, because once again, this is just the story, not the in-betweens. So then after that, I think that was... The Brony Guild was the second guild I was a part of. I want to say that sounds correct. Because there was... No, maybe third. Anyways, it might have been the third guild for Guild Wars 2. For the Brony Guild. I can't remember if that's correct or not. It's been such a while. I'd have to think of that. No, it was definitely at least later. It was not the first, I can tell you that much. I think it was the third. Continuing on, anyways. After that, it's like, for the most part, I probably was just part of Guild Wars 2 guild. Yeah, I was part of Guild Wars 2 guilds until my Catholic reversion, where I did start looking for other Catholics, and eventually, Kate, I know you said you remember this better than I do last time, obviously. How did you say? Because it's like, eventually I did meet a lot of my friends online, because Kate, I met you through Discord. Was it the r/Catholicism Discord, is that right?
Yeah.
No, it was r/Catholic Gamers. You found me advertising
No,
on there.
Reddit.
Or
Gaming, Catholic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what R means.
Right, R stands for Reddit.
I heard Discord anyway.
Yeah, I did, and then eventually I realized, nope, that was r/Catholic Gamers.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's
the
like,
Reddit, gotcha,
yeah. Either I found you advertising or I was advertising, one of the two. We connected from there, because there was a different server we used to be on, a part of Discord, which there was a lot of drama for that one too. We can get into that if need be. I mean, there is some stuff about that I would, because it's like you were saying, have you ever experienced a moment where someone was so angry at you that disrupted the community you were in? And that we will talk about later, because that's definitely something to bring up, honestly. Let's see, aside from that, and then it's like, I met Interceptor through Twitter, of all places, which is really weird, because Twitter is kind of a cesspool. But I met her, and then I met Punch, and then from there I met Caution through Blue. And that, for the most part, brings us to today. I guess I should also mention this Catholic Discord, which Interceptor introduced me to, which I appreciate, because I'm a big part of that community now. So.
Wow, that's a long list. I didn't put mine because I'm like, I started with IRC. That's a lot, but yeah, I was part of.
I have a bad case of terminally online. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been to Gaia. I've been to Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. There is a lot of, I think, communities. I even joined Live Journal back then. And we would write fan fictions, and we would have, I remember just asking people there. I would join different communities there too. And that was, I think, it was actually a wonderful experience for me, personally speaking, because it helped me at least in life journal. Um,
Sure.
it helped me write better because you have
I can
people
understand. Yeah.
commenting and saying, this is good, this is bad, and stuff like that. But
Right. Here's how
yeah,
you can improve.
yeah.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, so I think online communities, personally speaking, I still is wonderful. That's how we met each other, as you've mentioned,
Yeah.
Kevin, and um, somehow our faith brought us together. I haven't. The funny thing is, friends, for those who are listening and are watching right now, like me, Kevin, and Katie, we haven't met each other face to face yet.
Mhm.
That's true.
And yet we are so comfortable talking to each
Mhm.
other and just sharing our insights and our vulnerability with each other. And because of that shared faith that we have. And so maybe
Mhm.
you can also help me, or maybe your experience, not necessarily help me, but maybe what was your experience with your relationships in online communities? Um, I know it might be a little bit difficult for those communities that we or those communities that are not faith based or Catholic based. Man, now I remembered something too because I joined
What?
Guild Wars. I joined Guild Wars too, and I for the longest time I never wanted to join any guild, but it then eventually joined. But I search up online Christian community.
Oh.
Anyway, it's just, but that's full of drama too. Anyway, just remembered. Anyway, it's so funny.
All good.
So maybe what are the fruits do you think, or what you experienced from just on joining these online communities?
I can go first since you guys went. Unless you want to go first, Caution.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to double
You're
check. Don't want to interrupt. Yeah. Basically, the fruits I would say are community, and depending on which community, like for obviously the Catholic community is because I do like talking theology. I like growing my faith. For other ones, it's like I do happen to talk with my. Oh, hey, thanks for the resub, Trigger. Let's see. Let's see, what else is there that I'm thinking? Obviously, the growing in the faith. And then sometimes it's like I just like hanging out with other people online, even if they're not part of the faith, and that can be
100%.
admittedly
Yeah.
so as to try to just hang out with them, and
Mhm.
admittedly so hopefully you
How we
do.
be witness.
I am. Some witnesses exactly. I was gonna say I'm still trying to evangelize at the end of the day. I'm not gonna lie about that because we're supposed to evangelize, but by doing so, you can go ahead and try to help people understand that there is just normal people because a lot of the time they don't get that. They
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
think it's a
That's a
bot.
very good way to put it, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Like everyone
yeah,
out there, I feel like is so um wrapped up in something or other, especially in a secular world, like they're really PC or this or that. But like, is there
yeah.
just like normal people out there that just like this is like rhetorical question, but like, that just like just want to go and vibe and chill and not necessarily like talk about NSFW stuff or, not necessarily
Right,
talk about politics or not necessarily, like, no, so that was, I liked how you worded that, Kevin, like, um, just kind of like chill with people to let them know there's just normal people. Not that like we're 100% normal and perfect or
right,
whatever, but yeah, yeah. But like
right.
in that sense, I
Yeah,
guess we kind of are. I guess,
but
but like, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like
Hmm.
at the end of the day, we're still. I get exactly where you're coming from. We're still people. It's like yes, we're very faith based, and we live our faith. But at the same time, it's like we don't have to talk about faith 100% of the time, admittedly. But mainly just because it's like, well, we can see where God comes into life. It's harder for other people too. So it's like if we go ahead and shove. I don't want to say shove. We go ahead and talk about the faith all the time. That technically is a good thing in a sense, but it can make people uncomfortable if they don't understand why. So it's like, okay, we should go ahead, come to where they're
Yes.
at, and then we can go ahead and help them more from there. Because if we go ahead and
Hmm.
push them away, that's not going to obviously help. It's like, do I just want to be your friend? Absolutely. Do I also want to evangelize to you? I will be honest with you. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm gonna go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. Do I wish you were
I'm
Catholic?
gonna go ahead and try
yes.
to. Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna try to go at your pace. I'm not gonna try to shove myself down your throat. I've done that before with in life friends, and I learned my mistake from that. And I do wish I'd done that better. But it's like you live and learn. Honestly, live and learn. Edge of tomorrow. Let's see, but yeah, that's definitely something that I've learned from it, because it's like my coworkers know I'm Catholic, and they honestly have no problem hanging out with me or playing games with me. We'll typically go ahead and play a game like every couple Mondays, and it's like that's nice. And I still want to go ahead. Yeah, as I say, as one of the person in chat is saying, you have to meet people where they're at, and that's true.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably say that's most of my thoughts on that. There might be a couple other stray thoughts, but maybe I'll get to those if I think of them. One of the two Kates goes ahead.
What was the question?
We're
talking about. Sorry, I know what we're talking about,
fine.
but we're talking the
Fruits,
prompt
fruits.
was the fruits. Yes, thank
Fruits,
you. Okay.
yeah. Can you get like 7 more Kates, by the way, so it can be Kate plus 8?
Oh my god! That's so easy. There's a lot of Kates.
Like, we already have 3, including your
Yeah.
wife.
We already have 3.
Yeah.
That is true. That's a good point. So now we just need 6 more. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt Caution. I just was thinking of it. I was like, okay, I have to say this before I forget.
No worries.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely fruits, yeah, to online, because like, I mean, Kate said it literally before we started talking about this. Like, we get to meet people from different parts of the country or in Canada, like Kate is, and
Yeah, it's
become,
true.
at least in a Catholic setting, like become good, meet good Catholic people who, can carry out good discussions and have good discussions about the faith as far as like that kind of fruit goes.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of hard to find people in college. Is easy because like you just go to your Newman Center, or you go, if you're in a Catholic college, well, not that everyone at Catholic college is Catholic, but you know what I mean. So you could like
Mhm.
find
Yeah.
more people. You go to your religious group on campus, and they're all there, and then hooray. But like when you get out of college or in the real world or whatever, like
Exactly.
it's harder to find those groups unless you have like a young adult group, and they're out there, of course. There's ways, but for me, because I'm more introverted and online, yeah, there's a young adult group in my area IRL, but like I don't know.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, I go to it every once in a while, but like, yeah, I feel like I connect with you guys better because like I go there and I'm like, hey, do any of you guys like play any video games? Like, no, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like they don't say it like that. They're not that. Yeah, but
What's a video game? What is this newfangled technology? Yeah.
So it's like here, it's cool because like yeah, you can meet people with the same interests and the same faith, and then on the other side of that, there's the secular groups that also have fruits, kind of like we were discussing. Like you get to meet people with the same interests, and maybe in some way, form, or another, whether it's outwardly saying it or just literally your presence, you get to bring Jesus to them.
That's true.
Mhm.
Like you might be talking to somebody, which is the case for me. Like I talk to so many secular friends, and I think they know I'm religious for sure, Christian for sure. I'm not sure if they know I'm Catholic,
Right.
but they know I believe in
Right.
God and pray, like 100%. Like
Yeah.
so like so it's like, but have I ever had a theological discussion with them? Have I ever even mentioned like my faith is? It's like, to be honest, not really. Some people I have, but most I have not, because I just know religion, because they've expressed their turnoffs to religion just like in a general sense, like, well, I'm atheist and whatever,
Yeah.
so but I still know them and I'm still friends with them, and so the fruit of that is, yeah, you get to still
Mhm.
like know these people and be with these people, and like um as long as you stay cordial otherwise, and you get to develop a relationship with those, with secular people too. And who knows, maybe one day they'll be like, hey, you said you pray, right? Like, yeah, they might just like ask something like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so So I think that's a huge fruit too.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting you said that, you're introvert and the tendency of an
Yeah.
introvert, is to actually be online, and people don't really understand it. But the
Mhm.
people, not everybody, but most people who are active in online communities are introverted. And I think that is such
Mhm.
a beautiful thing to understand, because maybe some of the Catholics don't understand that the people that you want to actually meet and evangelize are actually online,
Mm.
Yeah.
because these are the introverts. These are the ones that might be shy, or they might be just doesn't even understand the faith that much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I think, and
That's a
that's
very good
why,
point. It's an interesting. Yeah.
that's why I'm so interested in this point too, because
Mm.
if you look into it, yeah, there are, because it's very natural, it's very secular, the online communities, but the online communities are much more conservative. I'm not saying political, but they're more reasonable in a sense that they are reasonable people who understand that this is not right.
Mhm.
And I find that very, very interesting, because these are the people who are very introverted, but they don't have a voice, but I think they're very much um in tune with reason, I find. And so it's
Yeah.
what you both said is a good point, that we might not be able to un- uh we might be too scared to go online and talk, but there's such a beauty in being present even online with some of those people who might not have that shared faith, but maybe eventually, because of our presence there, because of us being there, it
Mhm.
might lead them closer to God. And I think that's very wonderful, that very beautiful insight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
I would agree with that.
I feel like yeah, I'm an introvert, but then like some people are like you are, and I'm like yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like, well, yeah, I mean like whatever the classification. But anyway, okay. So I feel like when I do that, to your point, Kate, like when I do get to know people better, like you and Kevin and the other group, or other people in the group, I almost get to be an extrovert in a way. You know what I mean? Because I'm comfortable. So kind of, yeah, to your point, it helps me to be more comfortable around people and talk
Mm-hmm.
more and discuss more about my faith, because I'm getting to be more comfortable around people and then learn
Mm-hmm.
more about my faith and et cetera, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess same could go for secular communities. Once people start to feel comfortable around you, like I said before, they might open up at one point and be like, oh, did you say you pray, or like,
Yeah, yeah.
or
Yeah.
like whatever, ask some slight religious question that might lead into some, who knows.
Yeah.
But
Right. No. Yeah.
yeah, interesting. Mm.
Yeah, it is. I think your insights were really, really good. And speaking of that, we're talking about how the people have more voices now online, and people, those introverts, they share their ideas more online. And I think
Mhm.
because we are more vulnerable, because the thing is, it's a community, right? Kevin, you said that the
Yeah.
people feel like they belong in these online communities. And
Yeah.
people, even for myself, I became very vulnerable
Mm.
at one point in these online communities. And I think that is a beautiful thing, and also a dangerous thing, because you
Mm.
are being vulnerable to random people, random strangers. Let's just say, with the exception of the Catholic and faith-based communities, because I think there's more trust in there.
Sure. Yeah.
And but
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're in a secular community and you say something, sometimes, yeah. you feel vulnerable for sure. So I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
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 And I remember just being vulnerable because I'm actually in a way introverted in a sense that
Mhm.
I really don't have time to people
Mhm.
in my
There's no time.
my
Yeah.
influence. Like let me sit in front of the computer and I have more time there. But
Yeah.
outside you basically you just want to rest. You don't want to go out. You want to save money and stuff like that. There are so many things, and the only time you can really sit down and talk to people and have a social life is through online communities. And again, going back to my point, we I know for a fact that people desires to belong in an online community, and to the
They do.
point that they are driven to be so vulnerable and so open to a lot of things that I think a lot of these people, especially those um Satan-ish, is that a perfect word for it? Like those people who would
Demonic?
not demonic but predatory.
No, I'm just trying to understand. Yeah.
I
Oh, okay. Okay.
like predatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, like shares
Rumors.
shares ideas with the sex and stuff like that. And so
Gotcha.
with all of these ideas, I think that vulnerability and that openness, it is a prey to a lot of these people who can manipulate this vulnerable online communities.
Yeah.
And
It's a lot easier to manipulate online. So I
yeah,
agree. Yeah.
and because of that, I think there are ideas besides that what I said a while ago. There are ideas that that they use to really share in these vulnerable people so that they can embrace that because they really desire to belong, right? Maybe you have experiences like that you became vulnerable. I know I had, where the desire, the inner desire of belongingness has been twisted and has been, yeah, twisted basically. And this, I would say, in a very Catholic way, disordered. It became a disordered desire because it was manipulated in a sense that your pure desire to belong has become a desire driven, you because of that desire you are driven to do things that you're not supposed to.
Yeah. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
maybe you guys have experiences like that. Have you ever had experiences, and was there any experiences that you can share with us?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Trying to think if there's any situation where I've been manipulated. That's what I'm trying to think of at the moment because it's like,
Okay.
Not necessarily manipulated, but
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. So yeah, like
okay,
or taken advantage of, maybe. Is that what?
I probably have been, but I typically try to forget slights pretty quickly. So
more so about, like, because we were talking about this previously to the not released podcast. But you know what I'm saying, like we have you ever
oh, PRPs,
yeah,
that type of
yeah,
stuff.
like because I
Okay.
think, okay, yeah, essentially the
Okay.
reason why we do
Yeah.
those things is because innate in us, and this is the theology of beauty, is that we have a desire to belong, but because, or
Yeah.
to be wanted, to be accepted for who we are. Because again, we going back to in cautions Katie's point, right? most if Most of the people are introverted who comes here, who probably don't have any social life whatsoever. Probably, okay, I'm not saying you guys don't have social life.
Yeah.
But
Well, to
these
begin with, you might not, and then yeah, but
yeah,
yeah, or maybe you do. I don't know. Yeah.
and because they felt like, oh, this is a community I felt belonged. There are these ideas, maybe not people, but ideas that we enter into, and we become
Mhm.
quote unquote manipulated and disordered. Now the desire to belong has been disordered to do things so that we still belong. Do you get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And so, have you ever experienced, how do I say this? Maybe is there a point where the desire to belong was so strong that
Kate's very good at that star.
you did something, or maybe,
That's what I'm
yeah, like
looking
the
for doing this
ERPs and
podcast with her.
stuff like that. How did you process that? And if you've ever experienced that, how did you what was that experience? And what was your what was going through with your head during that time?
Hmm. I feel like
Okay.
Trying to
what?
go ahead, Kate. Sorry. Go ahead, Caution.
Um. Well, it's kind. I don't know. I still have to think about it just a little bit, but like I know you guys might speak to this better. Um, I'm not sure. Kate. I have to think about it. Sorry. Because like
It's
for
okay, it's
That's
me,
okay.
fair.
like for me, like you guys
Ha-
can jump off the thing of ERP. Like I've been around people who ERP'd and things like that. I've never done it myself just because of like not to get too personal, but I'm just was never really into that. Thank God.
Sure.
Like
Right.
by the grace of God, literally by the grace of God, because sex and lust is such a huge sin for people,
Absolutely.
um
Yeah.
I was never tempted to get into that myself. I was like around people who did it, and I was like, that's gross, like no thank you kind of thing.
yeah.
um
Sure.
and I guess going to the point of the communities, as far as like not great community, I've been in communities where that has driven communities apart, no doubt, you know because of people who did it and people who did not.
And
um
because you had a quote unquote
mhm.
secondhand experience with it because you had
Yes,
friends.
100%. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Before we go any
yeah, during
sorry, before we go any
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
before we go any further, we probably should clarify for the listeners that ERP stands for erotic role play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe not necessarily, but there were sexual things that happened online. And
Hmm.
I think it was just really driven out of the desire to belong. And maybe Katie, you
Right.
can talk about that a little bit more. Not necessarily in depth, I would say,
Hmm.
because these are people that we
Hmm.
yeah. But maybe what do you think? Am I right when I say that they did really? Do you think that they really had that desire to belong and that they were kind of, because it's an end thing,
Hmm.
that they did it, or maybe there's something else?
um I think definitely I would say both, because I think there's people who
Mm-hmm.
do it, even in my circumstance where I was like the secondhand a part of it. The one guy who did it, I think he just did it because he wanted to like do it. Like this is fun. It's
Mhm.
kind of like looking at
Because
pornography. Like it feels good. Like this makes me feel good. Like you
Yeah.
know, he was not religious at all. So there, keep that in mind. Like it's not like, um, and other.
yeah, we're not
I hate this.
judging. We're
Yeah,
we're
we're
not
not
judging
judging.
them.
I hate this. Yeah,
No.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to word this in a not like judgy way, but it wasn't a
Right.
concern for
Yeah.
him. Really, like it's not like, wow, I'm really sinning and I'm really struggling with this sin right now. Oh, I'm giving into the sin and then you sin.
Right.
It was like, no, I'll just do it, and he did it. So,
Yeah.
And take note that they are being paid too, right? Not real money, but in-game money.
yeah,
It depends. Not always,
no,
but
not
I
always.
mean a
Yeah,
lot of
but
the
this
time,
guy,
yes.
what? Yeah,
Yeah.
he. I don't know 100% if this is true, but it was very weird timing how he got the quote unquote job in game and left his IRL job. Um,
Really?
he, yes, that happened. He's blamed that on, oh, I never liked that job anyway, but it's like he needed to. When I say, I know it sounds silly when I say this, it's a job in game. There are times they need to be on to do it, and
Yeah.
literally clock. I don't know how they
So
would,
that's
but they would
it's
clock in and out on the game somehow.
oh
I don't know.
wow.
I don't know how they did it, but I heard that mentioned at one point where they clock in and out. But anyway, to get paid like this, like how long were you on the clock?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, but so I think he did it just because he was bored and hey, this is something new to do. I'm done with pornography, or I'm sick. Pornography is boring now. Let me do this.
Yeah, because it's
Right,
just
yeah.
one way street. for pornography,
Yeah,
technically
that's fair. Yeah, 100%. So and now the other people.
I mean, I
Oh yeah,
not to
go
interrupt,
ahead.
but
Go
I
ahead.
would say
Absolutely.
I would say sex outside of marriage is a one-way street as is, honestly, because it's
Oh
like
yeah.
you're not
Mm,
going,
mm,
as I said, you're not going to the fullness. Because
mm.
obviously,
Yes.
I'm
Exactly.
don't get me wrong, I am very glad that human beings are one of the 4 animals that enjoy sex, and I say this as a married man, just to clarify.
Mhm.
Uh, but that's not the main point of
Mm.
sex, and a lot of people kind of forget that the main point of sex is reproduction, and with just having this amount of ease, not just pornography, but even just the I'm trying to remember what that movement was called. The sex movement? Yeah, I think it was the
Revolution.
sex movement.
Sex.
It's
Sex,
yeah,
sexual revolution.
That.
the sexual revolution. It's gone ahead and destroyed a lot of actual things, and
Mhm.
it's like people don't realize just how much is destroyed and how miserable a lot of people are, because it's like a lot of people have been told, no, this is good, this is what we were fighting for, and it's like, you were, and you were wrong, and now you don't want to admit it. And it's, as somebody that was definitely bought into the sexual revolution for a long time, it's not something you want to stay with forever. I was definitely getting very depressed for a long time with my life. So,
And but do you think, Kevin, that that idea affected you because of your desire? And how did it became to
I would say it
reflect?
partially was. So
Mm,
I know I'm a people pleaser for the most part, and you'd probably agree with
uh-huh.
that, Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I would probably have to say yes,
Yeah.
because it's like I am lazy, and sometimes I don't do everything that I should for my wife, but I do like doing things for her. I like doing things for my friends. I'm definitely a people pleaser, so I'd probably say that yes, it is. In fact, because I did want to be a part of a community, and it's like
How was your
I didn't
experience during that time? And this was during what era of your online community?
Oh, okay. What year of my online community? I'd have to think about that, because it's like if we're still talking about the whole being used, I still haven't gotten into that one yet.
No.
I was just
Actually, my main point,
okay.
my really main point is, I
Okay.
think it's just again, not being used, but I think those people have been people who are online, not
Mm.
not explicitly manipulated, but subtly to believe
Sure.
that because it's ideologies. Ideologies change people.
Yeah, they do.
Are not ideologies, but ideas changes people, especially if they embrace
They do.
it. And
Yeah.
as you've mentioned, the sexual revolution has changed you into something else. And
Something we weren't meant to be.
yes,
Yeah. We're not meant to be, to clarify.
and that reflected also on your relationships online. And
Yeah.
maybe you can tell us more about that story.
I can probably tell you the 2 main reasons I would probably associate with why I went ahead and did start going down that path more. One of them was because of Guild Wars, actually. I forgot about this initially, but there was definitely a person that I would ERP with online, where I was typically the girl. I don't remember how I got into this, but it was typically like when I was 14 or 15. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
side note, the guy I mentioned earlier, he was the girl in.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can
So
obviously
the person
talking.
paying that guy doesn't know that he's a girl.
Most of the time, not, or they don't care because
IRL.
they're still getting off.
Sorry, IRL, he's a guy, obviously, but in game he was
Right.
He was Final Fantasy 14. He was a cat girl.
Yeah.
And who
Yeah.
knows what the person paying? Who knows what
Oh,
they were or
Yeah.
what they?
I'm so
Oh, yeah.
surprised. Oh my gosh.
Are you
No
really
wonder.
surprised?
wonder.
Like that surprised?
No, because there's a Netflix TV series called
Cuties.
no, not Cuties.
No, I'm joking.
It's
Continue.
one of my favorites. I forgot, but it's my favorite. But I forgot.
Cuties.
Not Cuties. It's
I'm
a
just
TV
kidding.
show. It's
Okay, I was absolutely joking with you. If Cuties is anybody's favorite, I'm going to call 911.
Was that? I
Anyway, continue on.
forgot.
Sorry.
Dang.
I don't watch much Netflix these days.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
anyway.
raised the price. Bye. Anyway, okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kate. So you didn't know that about the person I was talking about?
I didn't know that he was he's
A guy
he was a girl.
playing a girl.
Oh
Playing a
yes.
No, he
Oh
was playing a
yes.
girl.
He was playing.
He was playing a girl.
He was playing ERPing as a cat girl. I
That'll
think.
happen a lot, honestly, Kate.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, are you?
No,
not
because there's
surprised?
a
Like, yeah.
there's a well, I'm just surprised because there is like this the series that I was watching again.
If you find
it
the name,
was
let us know.
it was two friends. They have so the other guy has an avatar, and they would virtually have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But the other guy
this
is
the
a girl, and
was
it
this-
was so nice.
Yeah.
It was so good how they tackled it because it's like it's. I don't want to get into details. That's a spoiler, but it was just so good. I have to find it anyway.
Was this a Second Life documentary, Kate? Just out of
No.
curiosity.
No. It's a TV
This
show.
awfully sounds like Second Life. No, I'm just saying. Did the avatars take place in Second Life? This sounds like Second Life. That's all I'm saying.
No. It's not Second Life. It's,
Okay. I'm just saying that absolutely sounds like Second Life. That's why I was asking.
I've never played it.
Anyways, moving on because it's like we have unintentionally gotten distracted. So
yeah, sorry. I was just so like
no,
I'm like
you're
so
trying to-
fascinated.
Yeah, I
like,
didn't mean to
what?
skip
That
the
really
tangent, but
happens?
because
Yeah.
anyway, Kevin mentioned it because Kevin, you were saying that you were the girl, correct? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
that's what triggered my
I mean
comment. Yeah.
Star says it's Black Mirror. Are you talking about Black Mirror?
Yes, Black Mirror.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black Mirror.
Okay.
We'll cover
Anyway.
that stuff a lot.
Wow.
I love Black Mirror. Oh my gosh. How?
Oh my gosh.
No, because Black Mirror. Sorry, guys. Black Mirror is.
Sorry, we're doing a tangent again. Caution.
It's
my.
such a.
Not my fault this time. Not my fault.
Anyway,
it's a TV show. It's just so good how they did it because it was.
Does it have like a good
handled
ending
so well.
or like?
No, eventually they didn't
Black
care.
Mirror
They didn't
is-
care. They didn't care. They were best friends. They
Yeah.
didn't care, and then they just still did it.
Yeah.
And like that is
That
exactly
sounds about
where
right.
our society is right now. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so
Yeah.
moving on.
I mean, a lot of it is grooming, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it. It's like, I mean, I would assume, so to get more into detail, as I was, well, not in too much detail, but basically, I'm pretty sure that when I started doing mine, I don't know the age of the other person, but I was about 15,
Interesting.
because this was back when that 70s show was still on TV, not taken off the air. So I think the latest it could have been was 2009, I think, and I would have been 18 at that point. But I didn't watch later episodes of that 70s show because I just didn't care. But I bring that up for a reason. I'll get to why that is later. But let's see. I do just want to see when it was on the air. That's what I'm double checking. No, so it would have had to have been even. It wasn't even out through 2009. It ended 2006. So I would have been 15 at the oldest. Maybe it was 13 or 14. But basically the point being, it's like I don't know how old that other person was.
Yeah.
Wow. Really? Hey.
Yeah, I don't
So
know how
you
old the other
don't.
person was. I was definitely
You don't know that person
no.
at all.
No, but
yeah.
I mean, I would this one particular person I'm thinking of, I would message for, well, he would message me on occasion, and he would go ahead and pay me. I don't even remember how this originally happened, but it's
To
like,
clarify, in-game money, correct?
good question. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what.
And you were 14.
At the oldest, technically, yes. Might have been younger because it's like I think it was shortly after Guild Wars 1 first came out. So let me go ahead and see when that was. I can find out real quickly. Hold on. I want to say 2005. It was 2005, so probably would have been closer to 14, Kate.
Okay.
Because it's like I didn't turn 15 until the end of
You were a
2005.
minor, basically.
Anyway,
That's
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely was a minor. Absolutely. It's like basically I don't remember how it happened, but it's like I remember that I would go ahead and they would have me type out crazy stuff all the time, and it's like, oh, this is just me going ahead and making money, and it's like this person would message me on occasion, I would talk to him, it would be fine, and it's Did I like it, Star? I mean, that's a good question. I have to be honest. Did I like it? Honestly, probably. Yeah, because at the no, I get
Assuming
it.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So why did
I
you
mean,
like it?
I kept doing it. Probably part of it was living out a fantasy, even if it wasn't mine. So it's, and as I said, I'm a people person, so it's not like it was a good thing, but it's like and as I said, I think depending on his age, it could have definitely been somebody that was trying to groom, because groomers are a real thing,
Oh, I
and
see what you
it's
mean now.
like
Okay, okay.
yeah, because groomers are a real thing. So it's like it's entirely possible, but it's like I don't know that for sure. Like I never met with them in person. It's like this is just definitely one of the. This is probably the worst scenario or situation I can think of off the top of my head for. Actually, I can think of one other, but this one didn't involve me. I can get to that in a second. But yeah, it's like I definitely remember that, and it's like for a long time in Guild Wars 1, I would go ahead and ERP with people just to get some money, and it's like definitely not a good thing to do. It's definitely something.
I
that
mean,
I
Guild
did do,
Wars,
though,
you would need a lot of money.
I mean, not if you know what you're doing, which at the time. But I mean,
not like
kid.
14. 14, it's so easy to get your money. So
I mean, Guild Wars 1 is as well, once you learn how to. It's just, as I said, I was 14 at, well, probably closer to 16 at that point for that situation. Anyways, for that one, is like, I remember that specifically, and it's like, I completely forgot about that initially, and I honestly don't know for sure if he was trying to groom me, but between that and as much as I did happen to like that 70s show as a child, that probably didn't happen to help me much either, because there's a lot of bad content in that 70s show as well that can go ahead and, I don't think I'll say grooming for this one, but it can go ahead and give you the wrong lifestyle idea of how to live, because it's like, back then, I don't know if you're familiar with that 70s show, but I wanted to be Hyde, who was this drug-smoking, hippie kind of guy, and it's like, yeah, he's the kind of guy I want to be, and it's like, he definitely slept around, fought authority, didn't care, and it's like, I'm sure none of that sounds like me, and it's not, because that's just not who I am. But it's like I definitely wanted to be more like Hyde. It's like that's just who I wanted to be. When it's ironic now because that actor is now in jail for doing some not good things.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an experience, but not so much of being paid to, but I'm the reverse one. So I acted as a guy.
Okay.
This was
Yeah,
this
it's
was this was a
interesting the
guy
opposite
online.
sex. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was
Yeah.
role playing as a gay guy. And oh my gosh, I remembered how because I when I was a kid, I never really felt accepted. Like there's this certain standard that I have to meet and I never can meet it.
I guess I should comment on that as well. I definitely didn't either, because it's like in my family I did feel accepted, but I was frequently bullied at school because it's like
So much
just
to this.
I
Yeah.
was
That's another thing.
yeah
Yeah.
I was just I was just a little different, and it's like which is fine. Being different isn't a bad thing.
Yes.
It's like I wasn't even that weird. It's just for some reason people went and harassed me, and it's like I mean, yeah, okay, I'm a little weird, trigger. That's true. I'm a lot weird, trigger. That's true. But the point being, it's like being weird. As long as being weird isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can go too far, but I wouldn't say that I go too far with that myself. It's like, am I a little eccentric? Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. You don't have to always stick to the mold as long as you're doing the right thing. And that is a big point here, honestly, because it's like I think a lot of these people don't try to stick to the mold, but they want to do what feels good and what makes them feel accepted, but isn't actually good for them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people happen to realize that, because it's like a lot of the time they equivalent feeling good as the right thing because it makes them feel good, but at the end of the day, it's like it can make you feel good for a little bit, and then you're just gonna feel empty inside. Not to get too personal, honestly, but it's like too many details. But I can remember that I would without getting too PG-13, make myself feel good if you understand what I'm saying, at least 4
Mm.
times a day. And it's like I would even go to the bathroom at work so as to do that. Too much information, I apologize. But the point being, it's like a lot of people don't think about the actual good, and it's like they think about the quick adrenaline rush where it's like, this does make me feel good,
Because
and then
that's
later
what they
on it's like,
know
do
what
I?
good is.
It
That's the
is.
only
It
thing
absolutely is.
good. There's the only
Yeah.
good thing that they know, and that's the struggle, I think.
It absolutely is, and it was definitely to the point where it was starting to probably would have torn my marriage apart with Floofs, because she didn't know this at the time. She didn't know I was still looking at stuff after we'd been married, and it was like that was causing problems in other parts of our
Marriage.
marriage, which is PG-13 again.
Mhm.
Well, it's more like R, but the point being, it's like this was causing problems, and people don't happen to fully understand that because they. Sometimes it's because it is self-pleasing. Sometimes it is because they think that they're doing the right thing with the community members, and it's just a big problem. But that being said, I do want, this is about the theology of beauty, and there is good to it too, because it's like, as we said earlier, it is meant to go ahead and be a community where you can go ahead and help people. That is a good thing. It's just sometimes individuals do take advantage of it, or people spread the wrong message.
I think that's essentially it. Like, this is what they know what good
Yeah.
is, because
And
nobody was there to tell them that, or
Yeah.
nobody's there to show them that there's this other good that is really good.
Yeah.
That is so
Or you're-
not even much better, because what you're doing is
Yeah.
worse. That's the
Or
thing.
your parents taught you the wrong, or your parents taught you wrong, and it's like not to go back onto me again. I can remember one specific example, honestly, while I'm thinking about it, where it's like I was looking at porn on the computer when I was like 12, and it's like my brother told on me, and I didn't get in trouble. My dad was proud of me, so it's that's not a that's not a good.
Yeah. Wow.
As I say, that is not a good thing to have. Honestly, I love my father, but it's like when I typically say that I love my parents, but they raised me wrong, I do not mean it jokingly.
So yeah, well, we went off tangent.
Fatherhood.
Sorry. Yes, sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to make up from what you guys did to me a while ago.
Yeah, as I said, I'm trying to add into that, where it's like, obviously, the communities can go ahead and make you feel good, and that absolutely is true. And they can have a lot of good to them, too. It's just...
No, yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Honestly,
I remember... Yeah, go ahead, Katie. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna tack on, kind of like what you were saying earlier, like, people like felt like pressured into it, or like they wanted to belong, but
Yeah.
like the other part of my story is like there's the guy who did it, and there was another guy and girl who dated IRL, and they were huge MMO people. They played WoW, and then they played Final Fantasy 14. Now, then the guy who started ERP'd, hey, I'm doing this, check me out, and these two people,
Right.
who, again, totally not religious, but um they were like, oh, like, we've been into MMOs since like WoW, and like blah 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 blah, and now we actually never really did that before. Okay. And then
Right.
like a few weeks, maybe a month or so went by, and then all of a sudden the ERP guy was like, well, come to this literal brothel with me in the game, um
No, I'm
and
good.
well,
Continue, sorry.
and they were like, okay, sure, like whatever. And long story short is they are into it now, and they totally got into it, and they have a Twitter of their accounts. They got the G pose mods that do the things, and they're
Oh, the Gmod? Yeah.
for anyway. So they're into point
Sorry.
being is like, yeah, like I distinctly remember that. Like I remember them saying like, oh yeah, we never did that before. We just kind of played the game, and we've always had fun, and like that way. But then it totally like it's kind of like what Kate, like you do it once, and you get that high or that adrenaline or something, and then they were hooked. They did it once and they were hooked. That was it.
And that is absolutely
And
true. I can definitely attest to that, yeah.
yeah, so going back to what we were talking about before I said that, like, yeah, just going back to hopefully bringing like a good out of that, as far as like what was I gonna say, like, um yeah, just being that person. And I guess that's something I regret a little bit. I wish I could have been that person that said like, hey, like, come play with me. Don't like that night that they
Mm.
went to the brothel, like maybe I
Right.
could have been like, well, let's dungeon instead, and maybe they would have been like, oh yeah, okay, sure, but like I didn't, and
Right.
because I was at that point, I'm always coming out with my faith. Here we go. Well, but like anyway, at that point,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like yeah, you guys, yeah, do what you want, but like no, like oh, like not that I should have been
Yeah.
preachy, but like because that's eventually what
Sure.
led me away from that friend group anyway. But
Right.
oh, like yeah, we just need to follow that Holy Spirit prompting and like
Mhm.
say something, or not
Yeah.
not even anything religious, just like, hey, no, come dungeon with me. And even if they
Yeah.
still say no to that, like, and they still
Mhm.
ended up going to the brothel, like at least you tried, and
Yeah.
at least there was like a 50-50 chance instead of like a 0% chance you didn't even ask.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I can understand. It is hard to build up that courage, though, and I do understand that. So it's like I do get that caution. It's definitely something we all need to work on, but it is hard to do sometimes. So don't feel too bad about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's just interesting
I'm
how
just
they did
yeah
it
yeah
to almost feel like they belonged, because
Mhm.
they wanted to belong with this other guy who did it, who was also their friend. Like, oh, he's a,
right.
Mhm.
um,
Sex is a hell of a drug, honestly, even if it's only virtually.
I think
And people don't realize that it is.
it's just because it's something that has
It feels
been
good.
yeah.
It feels good, and it's because it's part of a community. So it's like you get talking to a friend, and sometimes, obviously, friends are good. You guys are all my friends. Don't take that otherwise. It's just sometimes you get you always have that one weird friend who it's like you hang out with him. Admittedly, I'm probably that one weird friend in this case, but the point being, it's like he gets you into that one thing that you shouldn't do, and it's like every group has them. It's just sometimes you listen to him, and then
hmm
you're making bad decisions later on.
right.
What is this
Obviously,
Gmod?
though, he's still
What?
so basically people go ahead and pose anime characters, any types of characters in poses. They'll go ahead and make videos. Typically these days it's called source filmmaker because SFM is, I think, a little easier to manipulate, but typically it'll be that type of stuff where they'll go ahead and just yeah.
I was talking about G pose mod. Sorry, I think I said it too quickly.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, like the
Okay,
G
that's my
pose
fault.
stuff in Final Fantasy 14. Like,
Oh, okay.
who-
That
I
makes more
mean, for
sense,
me, yeah,
honestly.
there's mods and stuff to m- be naked and take pornographic pictures
Yeah.
and sell them
Oh yeah.
with your Final Fantasy
Oh
14
wow,
character.
really, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep,
it's like
100%. Yep.
OnlyFans but online.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not really sure what I know OnlyFans is NSFW and pornographic, but I don't know what it is because I'm
Ah.
literally afraid to Google it. I know it's like
No,
basically like
don't
a Twitch
Yeah,
porn,
don't.
but that's all I know.
you don't
Yep.
you don't
That's
need to.
Yeah.
This one is a case of ignorance is bliss is very true.
yeah.
It's like you
So
don't
if
need
what
to
I'm
look that one
describing is
up.
also OnlyFans, then yes. But if not, then it was yeah.
It's not far
Okay.
off.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
anyway.
But yeah,
So
just so
yeah.
be that
That's very
person.
sorry. I can
Yeah,
understand that.
be that
Yeah,
light.
Yeah.
I acted out, and yeah,
Hmm
I would actually be involved in a sexual um experience with this guy.
Yeah.
I think he's being true because he was like, yeah, I have a boyfriend here, and he was okay. And but you know what, the beautiful thing is, even when I was doing that, deep inside of me, I knew it was wrong.
I understand that's
Mm.
Star. I'm definitely in a similar
Deep
spot
inside of
as you've
me, I
been
knew,
hearing
and
tonight,
I
where I
know for
definitely
a
have some
fact,
scars and definitely
even
still
for
trying to recover.
Kevin during that time, I think there's that still small voice that
hmm
tells people, even your friend, I think, Katie,
Yeah.
like,
hmm
like there's this still small voice that tells them, you know what you're doing is not right.
Yeah, and that's true. You just typically push it to the side and be like, you don't know what you're
Exactly.
talking about.
And I
Yeah.
think during that time, that's why I broke up with him, because I really went on a relationship with him. He was asking me for my
Sure.
number and stuff like that. And well,
Mm.
I was in the Philippines back then. So
Oh wow. Oh
around,
right. Yeah. Wow. Mm.
I was I was over the age of 18. I'm sure that when I was
Yeah.
doing that.
Okay.
But there was fresh from when you had the internet, and then this forum came up. And during that time, I was so
Yeah.
fascinated. I'm always fascinated with the technology. And for me, this was
Yeah.
something new. And then this was something new. This experience
Yeah.
of someone being so much engrossed and involved. And he would give me gifts, online
Yeah.
gifts. And I'm like,
Interesting.
oh, this is actually good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not that hard to do, which is terrifying. I mean, it's people do it all the time, and they call it catfishing, where they're intentionally misleading you. So that's
Yeah.
a little different than grooming, and it's like
Yeah.
I just bring that up because
Oh, okay.
I
I
did
was
mention this
wondering.
last.
Yeah, when you were explaining grooming, I was actually thinking of catfishing. So you think it's different? It's different. And this is just me asking. Like, I'm not
I
trying to
would
like.
say
Yeah.
grooming is intentionally.
Uh-huh.
Grooming is typically where you take a younger person that
Oh,
doesn't happen to know
I see
any
what you're saying.
better.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you'll go ahead, groom them,
Mm.
and that's why a lot of pedophiles are accused of being groomers.
Gotcha. But then
Because they'll
catfishing is
typically,
like
yeah,
just people, any age,
just people
whatever, like getting.
any age. It's like, oh, I can
Doing
go
that.
ahead and get a laugh out of you, or I can get some money out of you.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously can't. They can. I can get some pornographic pictures out of you, and then go ahead and blackmail you later. So it's like, catfishing is a lot of different things that it could be. Whereas grooming is pretty much, no, I just want to kind of bone a child, which obviously isn't a good thing. It's just typically how grooming goes, which is obviously very bad, and it's something that does happen to be somewhat of a problem in the church still, which is absolutely awful. It's definitely something I want fixed.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I agree. I was catfishing that guy.
yeah,
And yeah,
it's easy to do. It's easy to do.
It was just so bad. And I eventually broke up with him because I really listened to that voice. And
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that it was grace and that it was the Holy
Mm.
Spirit who was telling me. Eventually I did realize it was him.
Yeah,
But just
which it can be hard. It can be hard to realize sometimes.
yeah, because when you're into it, like that was 3 months. I think I was involved with that guy, and I liked it, just like you, Kevin. I liked it.
Yeah.
The most interesting and funny thing is I liked being waited on and saying that I missed you, I love you, and all of these stuff because I have my own woundedness. A lot of guys. I remember when I was I was in grade 3. There was this guy that I had a crush on, and he knew that I had a crush on him, and then he flat out said, "You know what? You're so ugly. I don't like you."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And here's the
he's
thing.
wrong anyway.
And here's the thing. Like for me, during that time when I was a kid, I'm like, what the heck are you thinking? I'm like, I'm gonna marry you? Like you're just a crush. Like, but I didn't realize eventually when I grew up, like, oh, that's actually a wound. Because
it can be
like it's for years and years of guys rejecting me. And because of that voice from that guy when he told me that I'm so ugly that I will never choose you, you know, it builds up that wound. And now
it does.
I come up with this guy whom I'm doing so much whom I'm like bad stuff, and then also leading this guy. Not only that I'm leading this guy and I'm very much involved. I'm using him to make me feel like I'm good. And sometimes I think that's what happens in online communities. We sometimes use each other. I remember in one of my Guild Wars 2 groups, I really felt that I really belonged. And for the longest time, I quote unquote used them to make myself feel wanted. Because the friends outside of that guild, my friends outside of my friend groups, they never really invited me out and stuff like that. Not because that they didn't want to. I think it was just because I'm the one who say I don't have time. Because I really don't have time during that time.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, there's that wound there too. Like nobody's there to invite me, and when they post things on social media, and I'm like, well, why am I not invited there? So that wound became a driving force, even I would say, to find out and
Yeah.
sort off um, communities online, because I know
Yeah.
they don't see me, but they'll accept me.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there's so much drama in that
There
guilt.
absolutely is.
And I knew deep in my heart, I'm like, this is not the friendships that I have to build with. Like, they're good people, don't get me wrong, but it's not the
Right.
friendships that I would say that I would have treasured for the rest of my life, because
Sure.
everything.
Yeah.
And I think Katie had this experience too before. I think you mentioned it, where everything is just so surface level. It's not
Mhm.
authentic,
Mm,
because I'm
yeah.
not able to
Yeah.
be. I thought I was being authentic by being vulnerable, but authenticity doesn't mean vulnerability. It
Right.
means that you don't hide anything from them. And
Yeah.
in that community, in that Guild Wars 2 community that I was in, that guild, I was hiding my faith. I was
Yeah.
trying to be someone I'm not,
Yeah.
because I want to belong. They have this vision of me that this is me, this is me, this is me. And I tried to be authentic. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Catholic, blah 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 blah. And this is not the guild that I am in right now.
Okay. Right.
It was really previous guild. And they're not, it's not their fault, that's why I left. It's just me knowing that everything was just not true.
Sounds
Like
good,
I
Cynic.
can't be
Sorry.
myself there.
Oh, hi, Britt. How are you? Sorry.
And
Two
I
texts
think
with me. How you doing, Britt?
I can incur
Thank you,
drama
Cynic.
within the
Sorry.
guild
Trying not
if I
to
don't leave.
interrupt while the conversation's going.
Right.
Since we're having a good conversation.
And that's why I left. I left there because eventually I realized that this is not the place that I have to belong. Thankfully, Oh, so go ahead.
Oh no, no. I was gonna say it's funny because my experience with similar like that is kind of opposite,
How are you both doing?
where I was trying to belong so much in this group that ERP'd and I didn't, and they knew I didn't, and they knew again that I was not that I preached, but they knew I was religious, even though at that
Right.
time I like from our standards was not religious, like I wasn't going to mass and like what I mean.
Sure.
Um,
Right.
but anyway, I tried so hard to
I did that too, so don't. Yeah, I
yeah.
understand. Sorry, not
Oh,
trying
you're
to.
fine. I tried so hard to fit in without the ERP, and like I think I was, but just like you, Kate, like I was saying things and maybe doing things like not sinful, but that was just like not me, Like, oh, why did I say that? Like, that doesn't seem authentic. Like,
Mm.
I wouldn't, or why did I agree? Again, nothing inappropriate or sinful, but why did I agree to do that? Like, you know,
Right.
um, um whatever, like to maybe troll some people on why, like, oh, I don't, but anyway, and then like I say my experience is opposite because I was so like into myself and I didn't realize it, and then it fell apart, not me, like you're kind of
Mm.
lucky you chose to leave, Kate. Like that's great that God gave you that like insight of some sort that you're like, I need to get out of here. Like I always like I had that in me,
Nice.
like
I'm glad to hear that, Britt. I'm
something
doing
is
well.
wrong,
Thank
I
you for
need
asking.
to
I'm sorry that work is
probably cut it
stressful.
off soon.
Not
Like
too stressful, I
okay,
hope.
yeah, maybe I'll distance myself, but then I couldn't. It was like a drug.
Mhm.
Like I just kept wanting that affirmation. I'm a huge affirmation
Yeah.
person. Like I need words of
Yeah.
affirmation. That's my love
Mm.
language. um
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I know. To show you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
um Acts of service, whatever, yeah, like yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like yeah. Affirmation for sure though. So anyway, but yeah, and then yeah, like PG crap hit the fan,
Mhm.
and I got kicked from the group, and I got blocked and kicked from the FC because I wouldn't ERP. or or they felt like I was judging them, even though I wasn't. 100% wasn't. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, but maybe that was Jesus, like by my presence, even though I wasn't saying
Yeah,
anything,
exactly.
they
Yeah.
felt like, even though like they know I was kind of sort of somewhat prayerful, boom,
Yeah.
felt judged and threatened. And threatened as in
Almost
like,
like they know they're doing something
yeah,
wrong.
like not
Fancy
physically
that.
threatened, but anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, but yeah,
Right.
so and then boom, everything just crashed down in front of me. I lost my friend group and I was like, like,
Mm.
no. Like I was like, I'm already depressed, like clinically,
Yeah,
like all
yeah,
right,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and whatever. And that, did not help. And I was so
No.
broken at that time. Like, I mean, thank God I still had like other friends and stuff like that. I don't know if I
Yeah.
knew. No, I don't think I quite knew you guys at that point. Um,
You
I
found Blue first, I know
yeah,
that.
I
So
think
that's
you didn't, because I
actually no,
remember
no.
you
This is like a
sharing.
whole. Yeah, this is. I don't think I did, Kate, because this is the full story right here. So,
yeah.
like, I was so broken, and then yeah, years later, or like a year later, like obviously my eyes are so open now. Like, thank God that happened.
Yeah.
Like, I was so
Mm-hmm.
inauthentic, just like you said, Kate. Like, same scenario, except I didn't
Sure.
realize it, and God had to do it for me.
Yeah.
Or like
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
I'm like, at the time I was like, I can't believe I lost these great, quote unquote, great friends. Like, wow, God must hate
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, he took my friends away from me. But like,
Mm-hmm.
mm, yeah, he knew what he's doing.
Yeah.
Um, and
That
and
kind. Sorry.
no, sorry, last thing.
No,
I
you're fine.
know, yes, I know I didn't know you guys yet, because that led me to reach out in what is it, Catholic Gamers Discord, something? Not the Interceptors, not the Hounds Discord, but the the
Oh, the Facebook group or
yes, at the time I was on Facebook. I'm no longer on Facebook, but yeah, at the
okay.
time when I was on Facebook, they said they had a Discord group, and again, that's when Discord was
Oh,
very
that's right.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
new.
Yeah. Then that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how you
Catholic
found Blue, right?
Gamer Catholic Gamers, I think that's what it was called. That's all it's called, Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As I say, it's
so
still
I
there
put
too.
out
So
a
yeah.
message and I was like, like, hey, like, is anyone like just looking for a community? Like, any, I forget what I said, but I was
Oh,
just
that's
saying like, I'm
wonderful.
looking for a good like Catholic community. I play
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14. Like, anyone, like, know of any or whatever. And then Blue reached out, and that's it, history, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where I got introduced to like all the great people I know now, including you guys. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's so weird to like reflect on that. um how well, here, sorry, I'm like getting all these insights like right all at once, like full circle here. Like, that was a bad thing. Like, that was a bad community, that was
Mm.
toxic, but
Hmm.
then it became a fruit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
It opened your
online
eyes. Yeah.
community, like talking about online bads and goods communities, like that was bad, and then it was, but now it's fruitful. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
it, I don't know, it kind of shows both ends of it, I guess you could say. But like, um yeah, why did I go off on that tangent? I don't know, sorry.
Yeah, no, this
But
is
it,
good. This is
it was a
Yeah.
good
good.
tip. Yeah. No, it was
Yeah,
fine.
what
No,
Kate said
honestly,
about her realizing it, which was like,
yeah.
oh, me too, but I didn't realize it. Like, God had to pull the rug out from
Yeah.
under me, and it was so hard. And uh um
Yeah,
yeah.
I just
Mhm.
remembered Archbishop Fulton Sheen saying that
Ooh,
the
he's
old
good.
oh was it Fulton Sheen? Oh no, C.S. Lewis,
Oh,
who
okay.
said
Also good.
who said
I
yeah,
understand Star.
very
As I
good
say,
too.
things could have gone a
He
lot worse for
said
me too.
that
So I
the
definitely get
only
that.
sometimes the only way God
I'm sorry,
can
that's
go
pretty stressful.
into a
But I was gonna
person's
say that's
heart is
fair. I
to
was gonna say
break.
you can definitely go ahead and tell
Oh
me
God.
another time. I'm definitely wanting to
Yes.
talk to you about it. We're
Yeah,
just
That's so
right.
trying
good.
to
Yeah.
And I think that
help with
I
this
mean
and
I have
comment on
experienced
that.
that
You go. I'm
too.
saying. I'm not saying it very well.
Um, uh, but yeah, that's really 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 wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Katie. Because
No, sure.
Yes,
thank you for sharing also, Kevin. Because I think it's not
of
easy.
course.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
easy sharing ERP or
vulnerable.
being vulnerable, especially on a podcast or even on Twitch. It's not easy because it's
This is the
something
part where I
that
forgot we were on Twitch, and now I remember, which is totally fine. But like, yeah, I was like, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
As
yeah.
I said,
Anyway, go ahead.
Kate should have the
Yeah, it's
podcast up
like
tomorrow as
Or
well.
that this is
The
being
first episode.
recorded,
I
all that
think
kind
the
of stuff.
second
Yeah.
episode will come a
yeah.
little bit later.
It's really really
But yeah,
wonderful
sounds
how
good, Britt. You make sure you have a good night.
God
God
can
bless. Thank you for stopping
transform
by. And yeah, I'll definitely listen. I just
someone's
not
heartbreaks,
able to
or
comment on it at the
even
moment. I apologize. Not trying to be
something
rude, of
that is
course.
so bad can come out of something that is good. And I think honestly say I'm a person who likes making mistakes and sometimes making mistakes a lot of times, sometimes twice or thrice, because I think God helps that person grow even better if they
Yeah,
understand that they need God even
Mm,
more.
yeah.
a lot of. I wish a lot more people did because it would help a lot of
Oh
people.
yeah.
And it's
And I think
yeah.
maybe maybe this would be the second to the last. How did those experiences transform you into coming closer to God? I know Katie has shared her story. Maybe Kevin, can you share us? How did you
Honestly,
move on from
yeah.
ERP to the grace that God has given?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've kind of talked about it before, but it was basically just I kind of had a panic attack one day about
Oh,
about dying. It wasn't
Oh.
about that or anything, which I've shared this on stream a little bit, but I'm not the biggest fan of thinking about death, although I seem to do it more these days. Not from a grim standpoint, but it's like, yep, gonna die one day, memento mori, so I probably should be
mm-hmm.
thinking about it. So it's like that. It's definitely kind of what started leading me towards that, because it's like I definitely was just kind of living through my life at that time where it's like I was mainly doing it for pleasure. For at that time I was hanging out with a bunch of friends in real life where my house was basically a party house every weekend,
Wow.
to the point where it's like basically got drunk every week. It's like didn't have, you know, like orgies or anything like that, so that was good at the very least. But it's like definitely basically we're just drinking every weekend, people were coming over, and it's just like eventually that started to catch up to me mentally, and it's like I didn't realize it at the time, but that's definitely part of it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I lost those friends because I did start to live my life, and as I said, that was at a time where I was being a little bit too forceful, but at the same time I don't think most of them really
I remember those days.
wanted to go ahead. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was gonna say at the same, I mean, this was before I even met you, Kate, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that would be even more so because it's like they didn't really want to stick around, honestly, because it's like basically once one of them was living with me at the time, so that was definitely part of it. And then once he wasn't living with me and I couldn't provide a house for him,
Mm.
they just didn't care anymore. Because I remember specifically one time where it's like they threw a party when I wasn't there, which I wouldn't have minded if it hadn't been for the fact that they actually told us about it, and they didn't tell us about it. And since you're in my house, we're responsible for you. So if anything happens, I get in trouble. I'd kind of like to know. That way, just in case something does happen, it's like, you know, go ahead and have a party. The other thing is, they threw that party while I was going to my 15-year-old cousin's funeral.
Oh my good lord.
Because she'd passed, yeah, she passed away, and obviously, you know, it was a little bit sensitive because it's like, yeah, my cousin just died, and and they tried to hide the party because it's like they tried to hide the bottles and stuff and clean up after themselves, but they did not do a very good job of that. And it's like they got all offended. It's like, yes, I live here too. Why can't I? It's like, bro, I literally just told you why. And it's like they eventually just stopped talking to me. And it's like as I said, part of it definitely was my fault because it's like one of them I did get okay, I definitely did get a little too forceful, where it's like one of them lied to me about how it's like, oh, I'm coming back to being a Christian, and it's like I was overjoyed about that, and he was just saying that so I wouldn't go ahead and bother him, which is like I don't know if I was actually bothering him too much, or knowing this person, it's just that he was trying to be either funny or a jerk or a multitude of things where it's like, oh yeah, I'll just say this, and then it's like, yep, uh-huh, I'll say that and it'll have results, and I don't really care because this is somebody that did weed frequently, and this is a person that for his birthday decided to give a random bat, because I went to his birthday party, and he basically decided to he found a dead bat and gave that bat a Viking funeral, or pardon me, a Viking funeral, where he went ahead, put it on, like, you know, one of those like funeral purges, and floated that that bat down the river after he lit it on fire. So it's like, okay, then this is really, really stupid, and what are you even doing? But I mean, when you're high, I mean, no, that's unintentionally judging. So how did I find good again, Star? Oddly enough, it was just because I think I can remember two things actually. At that time, even though Reddit is a cesspool, it can have a lot of good. At the time, I found Our Christianity, and I started asking questions on there, and those answers just didn't make me feel fulfilled. And either somebody on there said, "Hey, there's our Catholicism. You can go ask questions over here." Or I was just like, "These aren't." So, well, I didn't remember everything or a lot of my childhood growing up from my faith. Being Catholic was definitely something that I still remembered, and it's like these answers aren't really lining up. So I did start looking more into it, and it's like the more I looked into it, the more they did happen to make sense, because it's like, as we know, the church actually has reasons behind why her teachings are her teachings. So it's like the more I looked into it, the more I kept being drawn closer and closer, because it's like, I'll be honest, getting over pornography was probably the biggest hurdle for me, and I was definitely trying to not just pornography, but just masturbating in general. I was definitely trying to find loopholes, and
I think we all do. Not necessarily
that's true.
But on our favorite sin, we always try to justify it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And that one is absolutely one of my two favorite sins, that and getting drunk. So it's like, definitely absolutely understand, which is why I do try to watch what I drink these days. And as much as Kate will say, you were getting drunk that one time, it's like, no, Kate, trust me, drunk gets me a lot further than that.
Okay, you were tipsy, fine. Fine.
I'm just saying, Kate, when I start getting depressed, I'm drunk.
Oh.
I have to watch it. I have to watch that Switch again.
That's fair. I do have it up, so it's like, but it's like,
oh yeah, you didn't see Kevin get.
She wasn't part of the community at the time. I think this would have been
my goodness.
Two years ago. Blues.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
It would not last October.
No.
October before.
Yes.
Yeah, let me go ahead. Maybe 3 years ago. It's like
no, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. It was during pandemic. I remember that.
Well, yeah, it was definitely during pandemic, but at this point, it might have been 2020, is what I'm saying, Kate, instead of 2021. Give me 1 second. I am checking how long I've been subscribed to Blue. That'll be a good way for me to find out, since it's like, let's see, manage your sub. How long have I been subscribed to Blue? 29 months. So that sounds about right, because it's like that would have been 2020. Let's see, that would have been So I think it would have been right shortly around then, Caution, or it's like Caution has other things to do in her real life too, Kate, as opposed to just watch somebody she's never met online all day, which is entirely fair, Caution. Not making fun of you for it.
No, you're fine.
But
I admit.
Yeah. It's like there was definitely that. So it's like, yeah, this was just a stream. It was around Halloween time, because I remember that. I remember it specifically because in TF2, surprise, there's a TF2 thing connected to this. I remember getting my first unusual weapon, so that's why I remember it specifically. But yeah, basically, I was just drinking. I can find the stream for later if you want to go ahead and view it. That won't be a problem at all.
Maybe. It's so funny. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. So drunkenness.
Drunk stuff.
Kate's like, it was great.
Like, what's so great? Oh my gosh, you should have seen it.
Tipsy Max is fun. I won't deny that.
It was so fun. I loved it.
I just
Kate,
have to
you
know
were
my
there.
limit.
You were on the stream too.
Yeah, cause.
Oh, it was Guild Wars. We were doing Guild Wars at the
time.
No,
and it was.
No, she won't do Guild Wars with me, and now I'm sad. No more Guild Wars with Kate.
You need to play 14.
Because I don't play Guild Wars 2 anymore too. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but you could play but anyways, we're getting off the topic. I'll focus us, because Star did ask me. No, you're fine. Star specifically did ask me a question. Was it scary coming back? Yeah. At the time, Star, it's like, it was definitely something that I was starting to happen to come to an understanding, because it's like, I tried to fight tooth and nail, like, all the stuff that I wanted to keep doing. I wanted to go ahead, it's like, basically, at the time, I was probably your everyday average, American that understood Christianity. The devil is a guy with a pitchfork and a red suit, goes ahead and is bad. You go to church once a week, and you go ahead and be a good guy, and you'll get to heaven. And it's like, there's so much more than that, as we know. It's like, I was definitely at the time Star. I probably accepted it because I am pretty good with authority, as long as it makes sense. It has to make sense for me. And thankfully, as we know, the church makes sense. She has reasons for her rules.
I mean, she always makes sense. Regardless.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying, even if we... even if we don't initially understand it, it's like the church does make sense. I'm just adding on to that. So it's like, was it scary? Yeah, because it's like, as I said, I was giving up 2 things I absolutely loved, and it was hard. I had to go to confession once a week for a while. Now I go every other week, not because of that reason, but just because I like going every other week. That is the real reason. If I was saying otherwise, I would have to go to confession for lying. I do have to go to confession tomorrow, but that is unrelated, I promise. I just like going every other week. Not even in a state of, not even like, I haven't even mortally sinned. I just
You're
like
fine,
going every other week.
Yeah, we all, yeah,
I know,
that's fine.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over explaining now. It's what I do.
It's fine.
It's what I do.
Yeah, like, I guess go back to the question of, I mean, mine's a little different, you know, because it's not like pornography related, but I was scared when, well, right before crap hit the fan with the friend group. Like I said, I was like on that weird cusp of like, this doesn't feel right, but I think I'm making it work, because I was also, believe it or not, this is, of course I was that's when I was starting to get back into praying in my faith and going to mass again. And guess what happened? That. But anyway, yeah. So, but I say that because I forgot about this detail. I was getting into praying again. I was like, I'm gonna say a novena to Our Lady Endure Not.
Oh my god!
Guess what happened on the last day of that novena?
Oh, what happened?
What happened? Go ahead and tell us.
I already told you.
I mean, yeah, but tell us again.
I did. I told you.
Tell the viewers at home. Tell the viewers at home.
I told you already. The shit hit the fan. That's the day that everyone dropped me.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
The day.
You did tell. Yeah,
no, you're
you
fine.
absolutely did tell us.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, that's the day. That was the day that everybody dropped me and blocked me.
Wow.
And blah blah blah. And I'm like, what's going on?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm tired. Gods. Come on.
I know. I kid you not. That's what happened. And then I was like, and I didn't even realize it, like, in the moment. Of course I didn't. I was like, what? But then, like, after reflecting on it, I was like, oh my gosh, that was that last day of that novena. Because, like, yeah. And,
that's so wonderful, though. And
yes,
for those who don't know, like, we forgot to pray in the beginning anyways.
We will at the end. We can do evening.
I promise I'm not making that up either. Like, I forgot to say that. Like, I literally forgot to say
no,
that.
No, that happens all the time. Like, the Blessed Mother always comes clutch every single time. Oh my gosh.
So
oh my gosh.
As I say,
yes.
God works in funny ways, and He knows it.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah, back to the scared thing. Like, I was actually scared to say that novena ever again, because I was at the time, because I was like, this happened to me. This happened to me. I've said it since then, but yeah, this happened to me, and I don't want God to take away my friends again. Like, I knew it was like I knew it was God, but like I knew it because I was like, you know, and not that I was like, well, maybe I was a little angry at him, but like,
and I was be angry at God, okay?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So. Yeah, but it was like
God is big; He can take it.
Yes,
exactly.
Sure. Yeah, and so I was like, okay, like, luckily I didn't turn my back on God. Like, that's it. You know, okay, I'm not praying anymore.
That's true.
But I was like, of course I'm still gonna pray, because I like, you know, it was like a weird hybrid. Like, I was mad at God, but I still wanted to pray to get closer to Him so I can get over it. And then luckily that's what happened, and I did. Like, you know. So it like brought me closer to God, but also away from God, but closer. So, but yeah, I was literally scared to pray that novena again because of how powerful it was. And yeah, so I don't know if if Kevin or Kate had any kind of similar experience trying to explain that, but like, yeah, like you knew God was at work, so you were like scared to like continue praying or continue doing it, because not because you were mad at God, but like trying to justify, like, oh, I think I'm okay now, like, oh, I'm praying for God to not make me masturbate anymore, you know, or or to not get drunk anymore. I also struggle with alcohol, so I can relate to that one. But and then like, wow, it's working. I'm not craving alcohol anymore. Okay, but then it's like, but I liked getting drunk, and I liked feeling that way. So like, maybe I'll just do it. You know, it's like weird, because it's like maybe I'll stop praying. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone else can speak to that or
No,
relate to that. I don't know.
On-
Yeah.
I remember.
Honestly, I wish.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to
No,
interrupt.
go for it.
Honestly, I wish. I'd love that to happen to me. But as I've said, for the most part, I came in intellectually back into the church,
Mhm.
somewhat kicking and screaming. And honestly, I would love to have one of those experiences, and that's something that I have talked about with my spiritual director on a somewhat frequent basis. Where it's like, yep, that would be nice.
What?
Doesn't ever seem to happen. Where you go ahead and get like one of those things where it's like this was obviously directly from God. It's like,
Yeah.
yep,
Well,
that's
to be fair,
that there is.
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, sorry. I know I cut you off now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens.
It does. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say it in the moment. I feel like I I kind of didn't know it happened. You know what I mean? Like in the moment, I would, but like my your brain is so so I don't know. In other words, my point is like maybe it has happened, Kevin, and like if you reflect on
That's
some
true.
things that happened at a certain time and be like, actually at that time I was just like, not saying this is the case in
Yeah.
your case, but I was going to daily mass at that time.
Right.
Like, oh, whoa, and then that happened. Like, you maybe in other words, yeah, maybe you can reflect on some things and be like, maybe that was God because it might be kind of
Yeah.
subtle.
That's absolutely a possibility. Something that has happened, and I haven't noticed it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And I think even for myself, I was struggling with a lot of sin, and it was the Blessed Mother. I remember having a dream and I was struggling with this big sin during that time. And I just remember having a dream so bad where I've been like these shadows. What do you call that? That sleep nightmare thing? Sleep
Night terrors?
paralysis? Night
Oh,
terrors? Yeah, something like that. Like
both
sleep
I think are
paralysis.
related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paralysis.
Yeah.
Sleep
So
paralysis. Yeah.
I'm having that sleep paralysis, and I'm having this very weird imagery about demons pulling me down.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was the Blessed Mother I was holding on with a rosary.
Ugh.
And
Okay.
and during that time I started praying Hail Mary before I sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Makes sense.
and then from that time on, it was in a way easier to say no to that temptation.
Nice.
It
Yeah.
does make sense. I can see
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Because I think often, and even going back to the point of online communities of wanting to belong, it's
Mhm.
not, it's the beauty of it is that we don't need to do this alone. We are not
No, that's true.
alone when we desire to belong. That is not just a human desire, it is also grace. Because
Yeah.
we have to understand that Jesus Christ and God and the Holy Spirit are three in one. They are a community in and of itself. I believe it was also in the Catechism of the Catholic Church who mentioned this, that there's the God in one essence, but three persons are a community. And for us to want to belong in a community, that is innate in us. We cannot
Mm.
ever desire out of it as
Right.
much as we want to. I tried that.
Right.
I said, you place me in this desire, take it away from me. But
Mm.
no, that's so part of us. Because if we don't
Yeah,
have a
we're
desire
social
to belong,
beings. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
If we don't have a desire to belong, then how can we desire God in the first place?
Yeah.
And I think um we have to understand that yes, online communities are good, and that we have the Catholic gaming community here. If you guys want to, let me know or let Kevin know, and we'll definitely help you connect to these people.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I got a couple different communities depending who you're looking for, because not all communities are the same. So
Fair.
I can definitely help out with that.
Yeah, and I think we have to, number one, accept that, and number two, just as you did, Katie, and I think all of us would eventually do, is that ask the Holy Spirit to guide us to where to go. Because
Holy
I don't
Spirit
think
is huge. Yeah.
yeah, I
And that can be hard too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, because accepting that, oh, I need the Holy
As I
Spirit.
said,
Yeah.
Yeah. Accepting sin is fun. Accepting holiness is not usually as fun, to be quite honest. Which is why there's so much sin these days. People don't have any impulse control. But we're gonna move past that because I'm unintentionally derailing us again. So getting off that topic.
No, but yeah, like just going back to the point that the beauty of communities, especially online communities, is that it's very natural, right? Because it's part of us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are good communities out there that would bring us
absolutely
into that realization, and would bring us, just as your experience, Kitty, bring us to the right community too. I think we should never shy away from entering into relationships outside of our faith, but at the same time, we ourselves cannot just we cannot ourselves go head on to the communities. We also need a community to fall back to.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. I would agree with that, because it's like we definitely do want to evangelize, and that's obviously right and just, but at the same time, we do need to have a place where we can fall back, because it is true. People don't understand where we're coming from. It's like they think we're hypocrites or prudes, and it's like sometimes we are hypocrites. I'm not going to disagree with that. That's kind of human nature.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it is. It's absolutely super difficult.
But the beauty of it is that suffering definitely has some fruits, as we have discussed.
It does.
Anyway, that's it for now, friends. Thank you so much. That was a very wonderful, much better discussion than the last time. Just so you guys know, this was actually a second take.
So we can't re-record it this time, Kate, because this one was live. That was the whole point of the entire time. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. That was not the entire point.
No, but that I think because we had more insights and we're more aware of what we want to say, I think the discussion has become more fluid.
I think it did help.
I agree. 100%. Yeah.
And I think we're getting comfortable in talking to each other now.
I think we are. It'll take a bit of time, but I agree. So, do you want to tell the viewers what the next episode is, if this is where we're ending it for today?
I actually don't know. I'm still contacting.
Okay.
But there's some things lined up. Definitely, I've already recorded about the beauty of music in a very general sense.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I'm looking into talking about graphics design, the beauty of graphics design and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm also going to message this priest who is into anime. I forgot his name, but I will be inviting him. And there's some other episodes. I don't think he's famous on TikTok. I think then in YouTube or
not famous on TikTok or YouTube. Okay, I was gonna say I can think of two priests I could possibly think of, but I'm blanking on both their names.
And then I'm also looking at a lot of, so it's not just gaming or nerdy stuff. I'm looking into like the beauty of forgiveness.
Oh my good Lord, that is that can be a week's worth. Forgiveness is so important.
Yeah.
Oh my good. Oh my god.
And it's very hard. It's very hard and forgotten in today's
world. Pray for me, friends, because I'm looking at inviting a bishop from the Philippines to talk about this.
Oh,
because he's really good about discussing about that. And I'm praying for that. I don't have the courage yet. I'm still trying to finish the episodes first so that I have something. Oh, there's something that we are doing.
Right. Something we're doing. Yeah. It's a thing.
And so beauty of forgiveness.
I'm not yanking you.
And then beauty of accompaniment. I was thinking maybe different people accompany the beauty of accompanying a single woman. A person. Like people with same-sex attractions.
Yep.
And all of these.
That could. Yeah. See, that could be interesting. You get a married couple, a same-sex couple, a single person.
I don't think I can invite a same-sex couple.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Kevin.
Oh, sorry. I thought Kate said same-sex couple. You're right. Sorry.
Same-sex attraction. So, because there's a lot of people don't understand that you can accompany a person with same-sex attraction.
Yeah.
But how do we do that? That's the thing.
It's like,
right?
That's true, and I do want to be better about that. So I'd be interested because it's like one of the things that I do at least know that I can and do.
So
every other
sorry,
every other Twitch stream or every other Twitch payout, I'll go ahead and donate to
Courage, right?
Oh, Courage. Yes. Thank you. It's like I'm blanking on the name now. It's like no,
Courage.
it's like I do want to Courage, and they do help same-sex attracted Catholics, and they do go ahead and try to help them live out their lives, and it's not easy, but I do want to be there and be more accommodating. I would be very interested in that episode, honestly, Kate, because it's like, how can I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I do give money because I do want to help with that, but it's like, how can I? So I would be very interested in that. Yeah.
And so those are the episodes that I'm looking at right now. There are more personal stuff. I also am thinking of doing reaction videos with TikTok and stuff like that. But that I have to do on other things. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
it sounds like I have a lot of ideas, so that's good.
Yeah, I have tons of ideas, but there's a lot of also
other things going on, yeah.
Not only that, it's me having the courage to ask people. That's my problem. Yeah, that's my problem right now. Like
rewind, Holy Spirit.
I don't have I still don't have my episode like my intro episode yet recorded, and I'm like, what can I do? It's like
you can do it, Kate. We will pray for you. We will pray for each other.
We will.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
those listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Yes.
So yeah, thank you, friends, again so much for joining me. This has been a very wonderful discussion. Honestly, I have just had so many insights during this time. Just had so many interesting new ideas now that we've discussed this. And I hope the listeners and those who are watching have actually gained more or at least edified you in some sort of way. We're always praying for you. Please pray for us and for this podcast too. And maybe if you can help us once it's up, we'll let you know. And
absolutely,
send a feedback, subscribe to Kevin's Twitch.
Yes.
And
hit that like button. Oh wait, no, that's a YouTube thing.
Hit that no, just send a review. It would help this podcast a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Help the algorithm.
Yes. So that's it. Thank you, friends.
Except for on Google, because we don't have one there apparently, and I don't like it. Sorry. I'm
yeah, that's fine, Kevin. You can be yourself here.
Yeah.
No, I don't like how Google doesn't have an algorithm. You can't go ahead and review stuff on Google Podcasts. It's a whole frustrating thing. It's like, so why don't you guys allow reviews? That's weird.
Anyway, so we'll see you guys next time. Definitely, this is not the last time you'll hear the three of us discuss things, and so we hope to that you can stay tuned. Maybe we can have another Twitch podcast stream.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
So again, thank you so much. Pray for us. We'll pray for you, and God bless everyone.
Bye.
God bless.
God
bless everybody.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank
you for having us.
No problem, Kate. Yeah. Thank you.
Stop recording.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did too. It was, yeah. And I even thought, the first one was pretty good, but I agree with it was. Oh, I